Yellowstone's Kevin Costner lists his top 4 films, including one he directed himself. Wondering what Hollywood A-lister Kevin Costner watches when he's not busy making Western epics like Yellowstone or Horizon? It turns out his movie taste is very much in line with his career, as he recently named 4 classic Westerns no self-respecting Costner fan should miss out on seeing. The actor, currently best known for portraying John Dutton in the hit Paramount Network series Yellowstone, even named one of his own movies that's definitely worth a watch. Speaking to Letterboxd, he began, "Well, you know I love The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance because I love the writing. This iconic film by John Ford stars John Wayne and James Stewart, who stand up to a group of outlaws terrorizing a small town. This 1962 classic is rather hard to find on streaming services, but it is currently available on MGM, plus via Prime Video in the States." Costner continued, "And I love, very much, The Searchers. I enjoyed Unforgiven quite a bit. It was a movie I actually tried to make when it was originally called W*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Another John Ford classic, 1956's The Searchers can't be found on streamers at the moment, but you should be able to purchase or rent the film from most digital platforms. Meanwhile, Clint Eastwood's critically acclaimed 1992 neo-western is available on Paramount Plus in the US and is the perfect follow-up to a Yellowstone binge. I always knew that movie had a chance to be great because of one thing: the writing. It was spectacular writing, Costner added. The Dances with Wolves star then threw in a bold claim that one of his own films, which he released more than 20 years ago in 2003, is now one of his favorites. So I've named 3, he added. I really enjoyed making Open Range, and I'm really comfortable now with finally just watching it. Costner himself stars in the film as Charlie Wade, a former gunslinger and cowboy who takes up arms against a vicious rancher named Denton Baxter, played by Michael Gambon, who rules the small town of Harmonville with an iron fist. Also starring are silver screen legends Robert Duvall and Annette Bening, and it also features an early Hollywood role from Anders star Diego Luna. Kevin Costner settles into a leather armchair, the glow of a Montana sunset casting long shadows across the room. Outside, the sprawling landscape of his ranch stretches for miles, a fitting backdrop for a man who has spent his career bringing the American frontier to life. With a glass of bourbon in hand, he leans forward and smiles, ready to share the 4 films that define him as an actor, a filmmaker, and a storyteller. 1. Dances with Wolves, 1990. I had to start with this one, Costner says, swirling his drink. Not just because I directed it, but because it changed my life. At the time, Dances with Wolves was considered a gamble, a 3-hour Western in an era where the genre was all but extinct. But Costner saw something deeper, a story of connection, culture, and the search for belonging. I remember people telling me I was crazy, he recalls, that a Western wouldn't sell, that subtitles were a death sentence. But I believed in it. I believed in John Denver's journey. The film went on to win 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Costner. It revitalized the Western genre and gave audiences a perspective on Native American culture that had rarely been seen in Hollywood. But for Costner, it was never about the accolades. I was just trying to tell an honest story, and I think that's why people still connect with it today. 2. The Untouchables, 1987. Costner leans back with a grin. Now this one was just fun. Hard work, but fun. As Elliot Ness, Costner played the lawman determined to bring down Al Capone, portrayed by Robert De Niro. Directed by Brian De Palma, The Untouchables was a stylish crime thriller with a legendary cast, including Sean Connery, whose performance as Jim Malone won him an Oscar. I learned so much from watching those guys, Costner admits. Seeing De Niro, every day was like a masterclass. But I also had to hold my own. Ness was the moral center of the film, and I had to make sure he had weight. With its sharp dialogue, iconic shootout on the steps of Union Station, and Ennio Morricone's stirring score, The Untouchables remains one of Costner's most beloved films. It's one of those movies where every piece just fits perfectly. And I still get a kick out of people quoting it to me. 3. Field of Dreams, 1989. Costner's voice softens when he brings up this one. This movie is magic, he says simply. If Dances with Wolves was his passion project, and The Untouchables his chance to prove himself, Field of Dreams was his heart. Playing Ray Kinsella, a man who builds a baseball field in his cornfield after hearing a mysterious voice, Costner delivered one of his most emotionally resonant performances. I get more letters about this movie than anything else I've done. People tell me stories about their fathers, their families. They tell me how much that last scene means to them. That last scene, the quiet game of catch between Ray and his long-lost father, is one of the most iconic moments in cinema history. We all have something unfinished, Costner muses. Someone we wish we had one more moment with. That's what this movie is about. And I think that's why it lasts. 4. Open Range, 2003. Costner takes a slow sip of bourbon before nodding. I had to put another Western in here. While Dances with Wolves may be his best-known Western, Open Range is the one he speaks about with the most reverence. I loved making this movie. It's simple, it's raw, and it's about real men trying to do the right thing in a world that's pushing back. Directed by Costner and co-starring Robert Duvall, Open Range is a beautifully shot, character-driven Western that culminates in one of the most intense shootouts in modern film. But beyond the gunfire, it's a story about loyalty, honor, and the cost of violence. Duvall was incredible, Costner says. I just let him run with it. And I wanted to make sure we got the details right. The way people spoke, the way they moved. I wanted it to feel real. For Costner, Open Range was a return to the kind of storytelling he loved. Stories about people, not just action. I don't make movies just to make them. I have to believe in them. And I believed in this one. Costner leans back, setting his glass down. Those are my 4. If you asked me tomorrow, I might say something different. Bull Durham, JFK. I've been lucky to make a lot of films I care about. But these 4, they're the ones that shaped me. The sun dips lower, bathing the room in gold. Outside, the land stretches on, vast and untamed. Costner watches it for a moment, lost in thought. Then he smiles, because for him, the story never really ends.